MAME phase.
Hello everybody and welcome to another stream. Now lately I've been doing mostly streams where I've been looking at MAME progress, but I thought I'd just take a break from that today. It's my birthday tomorrow, and since I was born in 1981 I figured, let's have a look at some games from the same year, the year I was born. Obviously I wasn't going to be playing these back then because I was a tiny little baby, but these came out the same time I did basically. So we've got Laser Base, one of the more obscure ones to start with. But yeah, it was an important time for arcades because the previous year, 1980, obviously Pac-Man had hit the scene and that was massive. And the year after that, everybody's trying to work out what they're going to do next. What's going to be the next big game after Pac-Man? So we've definitely got an interesting selection. There's lots and lots of vertical games from 81 because the early 80s was a time when that seemed to be the norm for the arcades. Horizontal games were much less common. I guess the traditional arcade cabinet in the 80s was the vertical oriented screen. And so let's just have a quick look at who we've got in the chat. So I know people have been chatting away, and that's always good to see. So we have Aussie Guy wishing me a happy early 42nd birthday. We've got Seblers Gamer wishing me a happy birthday too, thank you. And Toastman Jack also wishing me happy birthday. Main Fan wishing happy birthday, and also Main Fan reminding me that he has put timestamps for me to use on all my other recent live streams, which is very handy because it means that if I'm looking for something myself, even I've got a list of timestamps to just jump to swear in it if I'm checking for a bug, see if there's a regression, things like that. So they're always really handy to have the timestamps. So I do appreciate that. We've got Mike ZT wishing me a happy birthday too. We've got me chatting away, talking about some stuff we were looking at, which got nowhere, and got GP. Welcome GP, who seems to think I'm the hunkiest streamer about. He's confided in me that several times and broadcast it to the world at other times. So welcome GP, and GP is wondering why I announced that I was having my 6th birthday when I meant my birthday is on the 6th. But anyway, we've got Smedis too. Again. These are the sounds that play in your head while working in retail. Bleepy, bleepy, bleepy. Yeah, I don't think Amstar, maybe Hoei have the best sounds, but yeah, it's very bleepy. And Mobo wishing me a happy birthday. Santeri wishing me a happy birthday. Smedis wishing me a happy birthday. Rick Ashley can't make it to the next stream. The streams aren't on any specific day, Rick. They're just when I feel like doing them. So I don't really have a fixed plan. So if you're around for a stream, good. If you're not, then you say that. I can't blame you because they're very irregular. And we've got Robert PL, and your birthday's in a few days, 23rd of May. Well, I hope you enjoy that one when that comes around. And Nojoto wishing me a happy birthday too. And and Santeri's got a Weltenberg Kloster Special beer keeping company. I've just got some naughty and nice at the moment. There we go. You see, chocolate stout. So that's my drink for the moment. And Mike ZT was born in 81, but never think you never play any games from that year. I think 81 is the time that games started getting a bit more interesting. I think the 70s games were a bit limited, but the 80s ones, I think there were definitely a lot of really good games started to come out around this time. So, your birthday's on the 14th, Smedis. There's quite a lot of May birthdays then. So, anyway, let's turn the volume back up a little bit. Yeah, I need a mouse pointer to do that. There we go. So, I don't know how loud this is going to be. If it's too loud or too quiet, let me know. It's quite difficult to judge. Let's go for the vertical layout. Let's insert a coin. Yeah, we definitely started seeing a lot more creative games around this time, and also lots of games imitating what was popular. I mean, you can quite easily see that this one is an attempt to do a Missile Command type game. But it doesn't really play that much like Missile Command, but at the same time, it clearly is Missile Command. But, yeah, you're defending your bases. You think you've only got the one fire button on this one, and these aliens are dropping down. The game was developed by Hoei, who I believe would go on to become Coreland and then Banfesto. So this is one of their earlier efforts from 81. Well, all the games are going to be from 81 today. That's the point. Or at least they're going to have 81 copyright dates on. I mean, maybe some of them didn't quite come out in 81. I don't know. Sometimes they have 81 dates, but maybe didn't hit the market until just after. But I'm still going to count those as games from 81. Because that's clearly when they were in development. There's one or two cases where we've got different revisions, where some revisions have 81 and others don't. I ran out of bullets. and I died. Hoei was formed in 1977 and renamed to Corlan Tech in June '82. So they didn't have long in the arcade industry going by the name Hoei, did they? Because I'm not aware of many earlier games. Now, I have streamed this one before, quite a while ago, and I think maybe when I previously streamed it, the background scrolling down there didn't work correctly. So I don't know if I streamed it since then, but there was a fix a couple of years ago now. But it may have been when I wasn't doing any streams, so this may actually look better than last time I showed it off on the stream. The blue backgrounds, again, you saw quite a lot of that at the time. People often say, you know, why is the background in some of these shooters blue, but that is just how it was. They were more going for a sky look, I guess, than a space look. I'm not really sure. Maybe it just looked better on the monitors at the time. It's definitely common. I think it's Astro Blaster, the Data East one. Astro Fighter, is it? That's also got blue backgrounds. Hoei did a bunch of slightly bootleggy stuff. Yeah, streaking's an odd one. I mean, I think it was recently discovered that streaking is a hack of a hack version of a hack, isn't it? It's got things from one of the bootlegs of Pac-Man in there. Not really sure you can play streaking on stream. I mean, maybe get away with it, but... So these patterns are getting a bit more complex, and the enemies are stopping and avoiding my shots. So I have to be more precise. I've only got this one base left, so it's suddenly a lot more challenging. There we go. Now what happens? I think there's a second scene, yeah. This is where it scrolls to the very edge of the planet, because apparently the planet is completely flat apart from the edge. And you get this sort of second round, which is what I wanted to get to. Now you can't move as far in this, you're quite limited in the range you can move the cursor, you can't go any higher than that. So you've got to defend stuff at very close range. Becomes more of a reaction test. Your favourite name from them was Space Battle and Jump Bug. I think Jump Bug is an 81 game, isn't it? I think that's on my list. Oh, I've lost that base already. But yeah, considering how much this appears to borrow from the idea of Missile Command, it still feels like its own game to play. And it's one of those games that didn't get emulated until relatively late on. You know, even after all the other older 80s classics have been emulated for the most part, this one remained a holdout because it's got some pretty annoying protection and things like that with it that took a longer time to figure out. Also, for some reason, all the versions of this, including Future Flash, have hidden ROM tests, and every single set fails the ROM tests. The checksums just don't match what's hard-coded into the ROM. So I don't know if every set is hacked, or if they just made changes to the game and then didn't update the checksums. Streaking is showy. Okay. Hey Joanne, welcome. Yeah, showy Hoei, I'm not sure related. Anyway, this was licensed to Amstar, I believe. It says on the title screen. The original by Hoei was Future Flash. I think Future Flash might have the black background instead of the blue. Otherwise, it plays pretty much the same. I think we'll probably move on in this game anyway, because the thing with these games is most of them are going to be really simple. Once I've played them for about 10 minutes, you'll have got the idea what they're about. Hopefully, you know, I'll have made it to somewhere past the first level so you can see how the game's progressed. And in that case, that's what I'd done. I'd played the game, I'd played past the first level, And you got to see a little bit of what it was all about. So every game will be in colour. That's a plus for 81. I think there is still some black and white ones. And McDonald's Custer's Revenge was released in 82. It was. I do have a few 2600 games on my list of potential ones to play. We've got Kaboom, for example. That's an 81 game. But we'll see if we get to those later. Evening, Peter. Welcome. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well, and I hope your dog is recovering well after her accident. Anyway, let's move on to another game. Now, of course, I guess you can't really do a stream for 81 without covering Miss Pac-Man. Because when everybody was trying to work out what the next big game was, you had Miss Pac-Man, which is legally one of the most methy Pac-Man games or even arcade games about, because it started off, as an unauthorized hack called Crazy Otto, and that means the rights to the game are split amongst different companies, and there's been all sorts of battles over the year over who owns it. And these days I think Miss Pac-Man ends up going by a different name with slightly different styling, and just to avoid some of the legal complications. But a lot of people did really like the changes made here. Maybe this isn't the most popular version. The sped up version is arguably more popular. But this made, legitimate improvements to the Pac-Man formula. You've got multiple mazes, and the whole styling of it to be the female Pac-Man also, I guess, gave it a wider audience, without changing too much that would make people unfamiliar with the game. Yeah, Namco did have a very good year in 81. I mean, Namco had many good years. But yes, 81 is definitely one of the big ones. I mean, people still talk about all those games to this day. And, they still put ports of those games out to this day. They made Space Ranger. Hoei also made Space Stranger. Yeah, that's one of the very plain Space Invaders games, isn't it? I remember adding that to MAME back in the day and going, it's just Space Invaders. I don't think that's 81 though. Anyway, I'm playing this exceptionally badly. Okay, so you've got new cutscenes to show the relationship between Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man. And here we get the first of the new mazes, and also you can see there are more tunnels. You've got the tunnels at the top, the tunnels at the bottom, so that's changed up too. The behaviour in the tunnels, I believe, is slightly different, which ends up being tied somewhat to open bus reads from memory, so it's not always 100% predictable. It is a very nice looking game, isn't it, GP? I mean, they really upped the presentation. They did a good job of it, and even the presentation here with the flashy border, it's just got a bit of appeal to it that the original didn't. Let's just give it one more credit anyway. I'm sure everybody is familiar with it. I'm surprised they didn't rework that little jingle there though too much. But I guess they didn't change the ghosts either, did they? Guess they wanted to keep some things the same. You got the fruit bouncing around. Now, I don't think we'll ever see the proper version of Crazy Otto dumped and supported, because again, there are too many legal struggles with it, and it would be too easy to trace who owns it and who provided it. There is a hacked version of Miss Pac-Man that's made to look more like Crazy Otto looked, sort of Pac-Man on legs visuals, but it's a shame, but I think the proper version is just lost, and also people are selling the hacked up version, so it's kind of messy. Unless, somehow strings get pulled and it gets an official release, but I have strong doubts that will ever happen. It's tough enough even getting Miss Pac-Man out officially. At least these days. Jax did do those nice Miss Pac-Man units back in the plug-and-play consoles. I think they messed with the AI though, Smedis, because people knew Pac-Man. People had already learnt how to, you know, long play Pac-Man. Same reason you had things like Pac-Man Plus. It just messes with things enough to throw people who, you know everything about Pac-Man off. And that is good for the arcade operators because it means that there's not like one person hogging the machine for hours. Yeah, a lot of people play the sped up version Aussie guy. In fact, most of the time, if you present this version of Miss Pac-Man to somebody, they'll think it's not running correctly because the sped up version was so much more widespread. And yeah, I've not got any good strategies. I used to be able to clear far more stages on this. You could just use the cheat and see them that way, but I'm not going for the fruit either. Not going for scores. You think the next stream will be about sequels? Well, if we do get a certain Kung Fu one running, maybe, but I'm not optimistic. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's get the pretzel. Don't know. Pretzels seem more appealing. Right, I got bonus life. No. Now I'm in trouble. I've eaten all the power pellets. Not all the dots. Ooh. Figured that would happen. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that those versions are as widespread as the sped up Miss Pac-Mans, but yeah, once operators realised that the sped up version was so popular, it was kind of inevitable that those would also get hacked. Welcome, Heisenberg. And also, if anybody else has joined while I've been trying to concentrate on the game, welcome and thank you for joining at this sort of day early birthday stream where I'm looking at games from 1981. So yeah, a bit of Miss Pac-Man. Definitely an all-time classic and one that is well remembered to this day. So let's just knock a few off the list that we've done. Let's go for something a bit more obscure. Let's jump to Irem with Demoneye-X. Apparently it doesn't work, but we'll see. I think it's playable. Thank you, Thomas, for the birthday greetings. So Demoneye-X. Interesting presentation for the time by Irem. So I don't think the sound emulation is there. I don't know. But there is some sound emulation. So yeah, for some reason this is marked as not working apparently, but I don't know quite what's wrong with it. So we'll just play it and see what happens. But yeah. So compared to the visual style of most of the space shooters, this stands out to me. It's got a very creepy look to it, almost a horror style. Especially those red flowers at the bottom just waving around, and all these eyes, and yeah, it doesn't really look like anything else. Oh, maybe the missing ground there is part of what's wrong with it. I don't know. Maybe that's just how the game is. think there'll be a coin detected in pockets soon, based on what I can see in the chat. Let's wait and see. So, what am I doing here? There we go. Big explosion. Okay, thank you, Mick Makarak, for the £10 with the super chat for getting a birthday pint. I will do exactly that. I'll probably be going out tomorrow to watch a movie. Actually, I'll probably grab a drink then. So much appreciated, Mick. Thank you. So, did anybody see this in the arcades? It seems to me to be a very obscure game. Not one that ever really gets talked about. I'm not even sure what I'm meant to be doing on this part. I'm assuming just shooting it, but shooting the eyes maybe? There's only one button, so... Or maybe this again is why it's marked as not working. I don't know. Maybe it's impossible to kill it. I'm just going to try. And it's game over. So... The evil eye reminds you of Kirby villain Dark Matter, does it, Toastman Jack? Which Kirby is that from? I played some Kirby games. So I'm assuming that sound emulation here might be incomplete. Maybe there should be a tune. Again, I don't really know. But yeah, I also have a few other games from this period, and they're all kind of interesting. So we might be looking at more Irem too. But I think every single Irem game from this year, from 81, is super obscure. You know, they're not games anybody talks about. That was a fast shot. I don't think I'm going to get that same boss this time. I seem to be doing worse. Thank you, Santeri, for the £6 through the super chat. Again, have a drink on you. I will definitely. I'll add to the pints tomorrow. Thank you very much. It is always appreciated. So yeah, I'll grab a drink with that, and so I'm going to watch the old movie Clue. I think it's something like 1990 or something like that. They're having it on at the local cinema, and a whole murder mystery week evening with one of the guys I know running the thing. So that should be fun. To be honest, I look 30. I wish I still felt 30, Wolfaz. I'm starting to feel my age a bit now. The Get Hazed Drunk charity drive. Well, I do say the donations on the stream, the contributions go towards drinks for the stream and everything else anyway. So yeah, this is Demoneye-X. So it is still marked as not working. So yeah, I'm not really sure what's missing. It might be, say, issues like not being able to kill things, but it's a playable little game and visually quite different for 1981, especially with the eyes, you know, watching the title logo coming like that and that smile. Anyway, what else is there? I think we absolutely need to do Astro Blaster. So yeah, in 81 there were already games with speech. Yeah, Moon Patrol isn't 81. No, I think that's 82, like you say, Toastman. 81 seems to be a much more obscure year for Irem. The Irem games I've got on my list from that year are Oh, Peter Wilhelmsen has donated 1,000 Danish krona, which I don't know what works out as, towards new hard drives. I think I'll probably end up buying a brand new PC at some point, Peter. It's just compiling MAME is taking a long time lately. So I'm starting to think I need to be looking at upgrades. But, I don't know how much that translates to, Peter. I mean, but thank you, much appreciated. So yeah, this is clearly part of what. That's a lot of money, Peter, especially with the current expenses you were telling me about. But that is a lot of extras. So yeah, thank you, Peter, and hopefully I can work with you to get a few more of these things done. The one we were looking at, I didn't actually get around to reconstructing those graphics, but I will do this. Alright, you're off, Rick. In that case, take care. But yeah, we looked at that Cosmos game from Century. I think that might actually be 81. And you can tell they just stole a lot of ideas from this. You know, it's got that shoot thing for extra fuel. It's got the docking. It's got waves. But yes, if there's any 81 games you want to request, Peter, I will play them next, obviously. Because if you're going to be, throwing that kind of money around, you definitely get yourself a request. Oh. You do have to be careful not to overheat your ship too. At least these don't have the strange throwing bullet pattern that Cosmos had. See, there's another one coming in, which is trying to. Sometimes takes a while, doesn't it? This chat is a sneak preview. Interestingly, I think the newer versions of OBS have less lag in the OBS display. Shoot this to it. Anyway, yes. Thank you, Santeri, for an extra €50 through the super chat. That is on top of the previous. Was it? Previous 6, again, greatly appreciated, and it will say go towards stream drinks and possibly some of the new hardware. And hey, Andrew Peacock, thank you. So you're Andrew from Zypho's chat, aren't you? So Zypho's Discord. Welcome. I hope you're doing well, and good to see you. Yeah, I might play Rolling Thunder one day, Rick. Obviously not today. It's not an 81 game. CVS Cosmos was released in Japan by Jalico, and Jalico's finds it interesting. I mean, it's a bit of a rip-off to find too interesting. Kick. Yes, Kick, I think, is one I will probably put on next, actually. Let's put a bit of Kick on. Or Kickman, as it's also known. Kick or Kickman. Let's put Kickman on. It went by both names, Kickman and Kick. Is this the one where they were told to change it because Kickman was too much like Pac-Man or something? I can't remember now. You're on a ferry to Sweden and gambled a bit and won about €100. I mean, I think that's more impressive on a ferry, isn't it, Santeri? Aren't the ferry machines more rigged than the rest? I think they've got lower payouts because of the different regulations. At least they used to. Maybe they don't anymore. Oh yeah, this is the one that actually has Pac-Man in. Naughty Midway. Yeah, that is quite amusing, isn't it, Aussie guy? I'm surprised anybody gives that game the time of day. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, you can't let the balloons hit the ground. It's a bit like what is it, Avalanche from Atari? Also Kaboom, the 2600 game. You just got to get under. No, don't do that. You can kick them though. Yeah, you see. Guess that's what it's called, Kickman. Or kick. Now let's just pop them. We can try and be clever. The machines are quite fair. Yeah, they have to, I mean, all machines have to return a certain amount. But I thought the amount they had to return was lower on a ferry. I know for some of the ones we have in MAME, the ferry ones allow the operator to set a low percentage, but we're talking like 90s stuff, so it could have completely changed since then. You want to see some more kicking in Kickman, do you, Toastman? Okay. Well, I mean, you can see. There we go, you see. More kicking in Kickman. You have to be quick to get across to them, though. If you're not paying attention when they fall, you're going to miss them. Yeah, it is analog, though, isn't it? Hold on, I'm probably going to die here. Maybe if I increase this a bit, will help. I don't think that helps. But this makes it worse. They could put that too high. But yeah, maybe I should just try playing it with mouse or something. You're playing an 81 or 82 gaming avatar pick, are you, MAME fan? I can't actually see what that is from here. This speed seems a bit better. Yeah, this is better. I mean, I could have just played it on mouse, but there we go. But yeah, this is quite colourful for an 81 game. It's got the full colour background, jolly little tune. It's I mean, I guess we're talking, you know, the whole period of 81 is still a long time in gaming. Different texts coming out even over the course of the year. So, you know, something that was released at the start of 81 is going to look something quite different to something released at the end, and games that were in development earlier are going to look more dated. So yeah, this is where we get to little Pac-Man. Got to stack these first. Now for Pac-Man drops, they can eat the balloons. I think. There we go. Vanguard came out in 81. Yeah, I think I've got that noted down. Yes, that's the SNK one, isn't it? Vanguard. It's okay. I'm not kicking the balloons. Come. There you see. I kicked that to get it back up and kicked it onto my head. I'm not sure this is how balloons really work, but complete with Pac-Man sound effects. Complete with Pac-Man bonus. It even calls it Pac-Man. Okay, I'm confused now. Did they have a license for using Pac-Man then? Or is this just very, very cheeky? Super Pac-Man bonus. Never catch bombs. Also, oh dear. The background kind of reminds me of that CVS game Wall Street that we looked at. the one that played like a Nintendo Game & Watch game. Super Pac-Man before Super Pac-Man. It was the Super Pac-Man bonus, not Super Pac-Man bonus. Now they're coming down at angles too, which means you have to be extra careful. Oh, too far away. But yeah, game over. What's the deal with the money bag in Wall Street? You have to take the bags to the vehicle. You can only carry one at a time, main fan. I did notice that in your video. Yeah, you can't carry more than one bag at once. You have to pick one up and then go to the drop-off place and then go and get the other one afterwards. I did the same on my stream when I played it. I tried to pick up the first one, realised I couldn't. The second one, realised I couldn't. But then I went and dropped the first one off and then I picked up the second one. 1981, Frogger. Okay. I see your request there, Peter. We have a bit of Frogger. Note, so far, all vertical games. This is what I'm saying. There's so many. So, Frogger. 81, Konami. Now, a lot of people know this is a Sega game, but it is a Konami game. Sega licensed it in some places, but it's made by Konami. Also, one of the very heavily bootleg games. There's loads of bootlegs of this. Some on quite different hardware, some with different music. Let's go for that one first. But memorable because of all the jolly little tunes that are in this, I think. And obviously the very simple and addictive gameplay and the idea of frog crossing road. I mean, not even... I mean, there are plenty of games that this influenced too. Every home computer, I think, had a 1,000 versions of Frogger, unofficial ones, just because the concept appealed to so many people. And some good, some bad. But yes, I don't know. It's just one of those game ideas as an appeal to a wide audience. I think, much like Miss Pac-Man. It's not really targeting any single age group or gender. It's a game for everybody. No one likes frogs. Well, I mean, I don't think I've ever heard anybody really express a complete dislike for frogs before. I mean, what have the frogs done to you, GP? Or do I not want to know? Or is it more a case of what have you done to the frogs? No, I could go for the bonus for just surviving is... Yeah, the thing is, frogs have to avoid the water. So yeah, don't jump in the water. It can feel a little imprecise, knowing where you can and can't be on a log. Uh-oh. You don't want to be on the crocodiles either. That's generally a bad thing. Anyway, let's keep going. Is the sound working correctly? It seems to have gone a bit odd. Is that just me? Can't go in there yet. I don't usually actually do very well at Frogger. Oh well, there we go. Game over. I actually got further than I usually get on Frogger there. So still not great, but usually I die pretty early on. But yeah, a bit of Frogger. That's why I wasn't sure if the audio was doing what it's meant to do. It stopped making the jumping sounds after a while, and the music seemed to go quite quiet. But maybe I just never usually get that far on Frogger. Konami said they're going to make a game about roadkill. If you overanalyze the games, yes, pretty much. You didn't realise I was so young, Artmeo. I don't know. I'm not sure 42 really feels all that young, but thank you. But yeah, I did start doing the MAME stuff when I was quite young, really. Sort of, probably about 18, wasn't I? Something like that. A long time ago now. So I was one of the younger devs doing anything at the time. So I can kind of understand why, knowing I've been doing sort of MAME stuff for 20 odd years, you might think I'm a bit older than I am. Anyway, so that was a bit of Frogger. Now, Aussie Guy seems to have a request, which is indeed an 81 game. So we can bring up a bit of Super Cobra from Konami / Lyjack. It's very much a sequel to Scramble, isn't it, this? And thank you for the GGs there, Peter. I hope you enjoyed seeing a little bit of Frogger. So I'm just checking the volume levels there and I died. It's like they took Scramble, but they made more of the tunnely bits. And obviously, you know, helicopter. Yeah, it doesn't really change that much over Scramble. Helicopters in space. You like a Super Cobra better than Scramble? I mean, I guess the idea is, you know, they refine the concept a bit. I think Scramble is the more iconic game. Do I wish to continue? Continue in an 81 game. It's kind of rare for the time, isn't it, seeing a continue feature? Most of the time, these games, they were trying to get you to play for a high score on a single credit rather than having you continue. You tend to associate continues more with the coin munchers that would come later. There we go. Both games brought Gradius and Nemesis. Yeah, I guess you can see the similarities. But you know, the whole top and bottom ground planes, ground plane and ceiling plane, is very Gradius Nemesis, isn't it? Konami's history. Definitely more going on with this than Scramble. More variations in the attack patterns. One of my favourite games of this style was Penetrator on the Spectrum. Obviously, it pales compared to the arcade original game. It was good fun and had a level editor. More Scramble than Super Cobra. $2,000 miles cleared. 4 fun in one's version, insert coin to finish the job. I think 4 Fun in 1 is 81 too, isn't it? But I might not play 4 Fun in 1 because I'm thinking of doing a stream of games with more than one game. Oh dear, suddenly I started doing badly. You spent a lot of coins on Scramble as a kid. The narrow zones, yeah, you have to know where you position your ship in the narrow zones. If you don't move forward and backwards at the right time, you're just going to die because you can't possibly get through the tunnels. Konami put out a lot of games in 81. There were a lot of games in 81 in general. I was looking at you know, making a list of potential games to play, and the list is huge. Yeah. So this will be the last go on this, and then we'll move on to another game. I think I might move on onto another Konami game actually. One that caught my eye for another reason. Those gun turrets, I was good at avoiding them the first time round. After falling for their trick a number of times. I think I must just not be concentrating again. Yes, this is definitely the sound of the 80s. There were all these explosions and pew pew. Thank you, Andre. You're also from 81. Yeah, I think a lot of the best people were born in 81, weren't they? Anyway, welcome. I hope you're doing well. And hey, cow, welcome. So, what were cows like in 81? I don't know. I don't think we're going to find any cow games from 81. You were only born in 82. I think you still get a pass on it. Sound of video games in general, according to 2000 television. Yeah, they did seem to have just one sound. So, this is interesting. Most sets of this show a 1982 copyright. However, the Amidar older set shows a 1981 copyright, which is kind of unusual because games don't usually change the title date, the title screen copyright date, when they get a new revision. So I don't know why in the case of this one, this older revision does have 81 on the title screen, whereas the other revisions have 82, because you would have thought they would just leave it 81 if the game came out in 81. And Thomas is from 80, and the cows are from 1957, which is a little before the 80s. So don't do that. So yeah, is there a story behind this? Is this version with the 81 copyright an older Japan release? Is it an unreleased version, or is it hacked? I don't know why anyone would take a year off if they were hacking it. Okay. Jungler is really cool. Yes, Jungler is a really creative one, and it's one that I was looking forward to trying. Not really, but this is a bit like Pac-Man. It uncovers these tiles, and you've got the stun button, which makes them jump. I've seen it compared to the likes of Gauss Panic, but it's not really very Gauss Panic-like, or even very Kicks-like, because you're not uncovering any kind of naked lady here. And plus, you're not making your own lines, you're just going around the lines that are already there. Do the Game & Watches count? I wasn't going to play Game & Watches today. I'm not sure I've got the artwork set up at the moment, to be honest. So you can run under them if you make them jump like that, which is the technique you have to try and get the timing right on. This is a game that had a surprising number of clones too, and people remaking it on their own systems. It's all the things, I think is it Triple Punch is very similar. Oh dear. That didn't work out for me, did it? AI, I don't know, is the AI aggressive or am I just falling for the patterns? There we go, cleared the stage. Yeah, loads of them on the 8-bits. They say it was cloned quite a bit. Odd sort of bonus game to have, but I failed it, haven't I? Yes, I failed it. Didn't get the banana. Now you're a paintbrush. And so you have to keep the line going from the paint can. It changed up the gameplay. Now a lot of the clones don't have that part where it starts to change up the gameplay. I'll see if I can get back there again because I didn't really get to show that very well, did I? But it's kind of odd to see that they completely changes the main character on that stage from this monkey to a paintbrush. It almost feels like a different game built around the same concept. This is easier than the American version. I should not be failing then, should I? Yeah, I guess they must have found it was too easy then and tweaked it, or well, then again, it's a Konami game. We know what Konami are like with the US arcades. Apparently, they were doing it back in '81 too. Is there a single Konami game that isn't just ridiculously hard in the US versions? There we go. You'd like to think they had an argument over who the mascot should be, Smedis. I mean, Konami did sometimes rebrand other games as well, because Turtles was Terrapin and 600. And yeah, if you go beyond the nearest square, the line stops. If you backtrack on yourself, the line stops. Which doesn't make sense, really, from a how paint works point of view, but it forces you to do squares next to the ones you've done. Yes, this is definitely a stream of classic games, I think, and unknown games from the period. Obviously, everybody does love these all-time classics. I don't think this one gets talked about that much compared to other Konami games, but say at the time it was a big deal. It was cloned everywhere. Is there any news about Speed King, the arcade version? I've not heard anything, Cal. Maybe Aussie guy would know more about that, but personally not heard a word about it. The Italian version is much harder and you only get one jump. That sounds like a nightmare. Oh, I got a banana. How many jumps do I get in this version? That many. Does it actually tell you how many jumps you've got anywhere? I cannot see a counter that would actually tell me. My birthday present was the bananas, was it, Smithers? It just recharge when you die. Anyway, yeah. So, that is Amidar. So the original Japanese release from '81. Even if people outside of Japan probably know it's an '82 game rather than an '81 game, but it came out in '81 in the first place. Right. Okay. I'm terrible at this next game, but it should really be featured, so yes. Sega's Turbo. Now, this is a very impressive looking game for '81. Let's take the side display off and just go with just the standard screen. Lose the shifter. I don't know. Yeah, so before Sega's more famous sprite scalers, they were already doing sprite scaling with this kind of tech. And again, compared to everything else we've looked at so far on the stream, this still looks great. It's maybe not as smooth as later games, but it is pushing a lot around. It's very impressive for '81. I mean, look at all these effects. Tunnel now. Very much like Enduro on the 2600. Now we've got ice. Also, obviously, heavily influenced by Sega's own racing game, 2D ones like Monaco GP. But with this into the screen perspective. I didn't pass enough cars. Oh, did I pass enough cars? I did pass enough cars to get to round 2. In fact, I didn't think I had. The giant speaker. The games with the big bass speakers are always fun, aren't they? When you know they're there. Oh, look at that explosion. Yeah, a Mega Drive would. I mean, you could hard code some of the sprite scaling and things like that, but yeah, a Mega Drive would probably struggle a little bit to pull something off like this off. I mean, it's analog scaling hardware, and yeah, it's a great game, System 11. It really is. I mean, you know, I know Outrun is a far more famous game, but if you see a real turbo cabinet, definitely want to give a shot, have a go at it, especially if it's a sit down one. Sega Export can't compete. I mean, I think you could pull it off on the export card. Nothing could compete with the Y-board. I think it can. You're going to do worse this time already. You can tell. That would be nice the day we can properly emulate Monaco GP2, but I hate to think what the performance requirements of that would be like with all the proper analog tech emulated. forgot how loud the game is. Quite a lot of these games with the analog sounds can be quite loud, especially explosions. Did I get enough? Just, I think. I don't want to be on the side of the road. Game over. There we go. Yeah, it is a really nice looking game, Christian. It was designed and programmed by Steve Hanover. He said it was the worst working experience for him, and he was hospitalised about spending hours coding and debugging it. I guess he probably doesn't enjoy it that much then. I mean, I can understand, you know, sometimes coding and trying to figure things out is incredibly stressful, and the hardware for debugging that we're working with at the time must have been primitive. So, yeah, I imagine it was a complete nightmare, especially with it being so much more complex than almost anything else out at the time. But he managed to produce a very good game, and one that is always worth playing. So, let me just have a quick look through this list of this very big list of games. Let's see what we want to put on. Right. Okay. What's the set name? Yes. Is this actually going to be? No, this is not set up yet. Okay. What are the controls? Space Dungeon, twin stick. Okay. So, Taito game, the Taito America game. Space Dungeon. I think I played this on stream before. I don't actually remember much about it. But this is when Taito were putting out games that looked a lot more like Williams games, with very Williams-like sound effects. Yeah, it's just quite off. This track mode is taking ages. Treasures. Look how much this looks like Defender. And sounds like Defender. Like, almost like a knockoff Robotron gameplay-wise. But with different rooms you can go to. The one that's not Kicks, yeah. There are quite a few games on this hardware. You can always leave the rooms and not stuck in the rooms. Yeah, it's not as polished as the Vid Kids game. I imagine this kind of thing influenced a lot of games though, because you know you play something like Attic Attack or Wizard's Lair, and they've got this whole moving from room to room, shooting things, going through exits at the side of the screen, and there we go. Let's get the bonus this time. Taito America, yeah. They released Complex X in Japan. That's a strange choice. That seems to be one of the weaker games. You've got your map up there, so you can head towards the bonus, which is marked on the map. More to see on level 3. Caution, explosive spore case. That sounds fun. This also reminds me quite a lot of all these modern roguelike games, to be honest. Just rooms to room, moving from room to room with seemingly random content in each room. With a map that shows you where you can go. And, where the exit is. Doesn't lock the rooms until you kill the enemies like most of those do, though. But yeah, if you don't collect the objects in the levels, you're not going to get much treasure bonus. Thieves in view on level 2. Little rhymes. Get that there. More to see on level 3. This is where we get the explosive spore case again. There's some Taito America games that never made it in Japan. I'm not surprised Colony 7 didn't. That's awful. Cram's good though. Colony 7 is just like a really bad Missile Command knockoff with joystick controls, and it doesn't play well at all. That's also 81. It's one of the potential ones to play, but I'm probably not going to play that. So yeah, a bit of Space Dungeon. Say maybe not one many people play. Not a household name as far as Taito games go, but say it's playable. It's kind of similar to a lot of newer games. I'd say we're still only played vertical games. Is this one a vertical game? I don't know. I think this one might be horizontal. Yes, it's horizontal. We get to change the view. We have Cosmic Avenger from Universal. Stream theme games made by Western divisions of primarily Japanese companies. They take a fair bit of research, Medis, but definitely an idea. What are the controls? Is it just joystick? Yeah, joystick and 2 buttons. It's like a very colourful version of Scramble. The universal opinion of this is it's hard and pun not intended. Your bomb movement is weird. Your bomb movement basically depends on how your ship's moving. And yeah. It did kill me off quickly, didn't it? I have to move all the way to end like that. I'm not sure why. The game has up, down, left, right inputs, and into your high score you have to use only left and right to get... Yeah, see, the explosions kill you too. New Rally X and Bosconian are also horizontal. Yeah, there are a few. There are definitely a few. New Rally X is... I say New Rally X is a classic. Rally X is a classic. New Rally X is a version of it. Yeah, I don't even know how you outrun that missile. You can't shoot backwards. Knowledge. Not the only 81 game from Universal. Yeah, you can't use up and down here. Try again. But yeah, I think people are going to get quite frustrated with this one, trying to play it in an arcade, because your credit does not last long. And your bomb movement just feels awkward. Very awkward. It's like I'm trying to aim with these bombs, but I can't. And then they accelerate like that. And, you know, the thing with Scramble and Super Cobra is they've got a very predictable bomb arc. You can time your bombs perfectly and have them land exactly where you want. In this, it doesn't feel natural. To the point you almost don't want to use the bombs. Once you get used to the pace, it becomes a bit easier, yes. Again, look. Sky Skipper, yep, that is an 81 game. Well, right, Aussie guy. And a horizontal one too. I think I tried to play Sky Skipper before and you didn't quite get what I was doing. That's one that's found new life on current systems, isn't it? Now we have an underwater section for no apparent reason. Oh, and I got killed by an explosion. Just flashing submarine. I'm not even sure what the radar's showing me. It doesn't seem very useful. Yeah, this game just feels a bit all over the place. Anyway, I think that'll do for Cosmic Avenger. I think we've seen enough of it, and I'd say it's a bit frustrating to play. Warp and Warp, yep, that's an 81 game Big Jord. Also, welcome Big Jord. I hope you're doing well. A little tune. There is a Universal game from 81 that I much prefer over Cosmic Avenger. We may look at that later, we may not. We'll see. Okay. Yeah. Sky Skipper failed location test in North America. Well, here is Sky Skipper, an early Nintendo game from 81. Say, not one many people really know about. At least didn't for a long time. Maybe these days they do. But it's another one of those games where you can see it's based around a card theme with the sweets and everything. The suits, not sweets. So yeah, I'm just going to coin up and try and play it and see where we get. Doesn't have a song which was used by Popeye and Donkey Kong. Possibly. So, what am I actually doing? Collecting cards? And then Landing. But it kind of reminds me of looping. But looping feels more natural to control. The way the plane moves on this feels very, very strange. I mean, you can go faster by holding down the first button. Look, don't think it gets me. So that doesn't. It does include an extended version of the How High Can You Get jingle from DK. Ah, I didn't know that. So that is an interesting one. 125 scratch. Hit those. Oh, what, I have to go back and land? Can I land here anymore? There's no landing base there anymore. Okay, what am I doing? Yeah, it's not really obvious what you do. I think that's the issue with it. Right, why am I collecting cards? Why does... What causes things to happen? Go down again. Why is that one now in a cage? Is that good or is that bad? I can't do anything with it in a cage. Below is the map. Okay. Let's try this again then. So the map is... Okay, it's a bit like Fantasy Zone then, with the map. I assume I have to drop them off and refuel, or not? Can I just pick up as many... I can pick up as many as I want. Yeah, the movement of the plane does not feel very good. Yeah, you have to bomb the gorillas to get them to... I did notice, yeah, you have to bomb things to get them to come out cages. I'm not sure how the fuel and stuff works. It doesn't mark your position on the on the map. No drop off. Okay. But do you get fuel back? I seem to land before and got some fuel back. Or is that just a one-off thing you can do? Okay. That's all of them from over there. Also, it kind of shows the hardware limits here. You know, it can't draw two sprites in one location with transparency, so things get erased. It's the same as well, one of the things in Popeye that wasn't emulated for a long time was that limit. It's, okay. So I'll just get them all. Okay. I think that's the first time I completed a level on it. Yeah, I see. It seems more complex than it is then. Because I thought you could only pick up like 4 at once because there's the 4 things at the top, but apparently that's just... Is that just some extra bonus thing? Yeah, the It's just a shame the plane doesn't feel more natural. Damn it, Gorilla. Let's give it another go. Let's give this early Nintendo curiosity one more chance. You speed up and slow down in a really unnatural way. I could just not use the speed up button, but I guess then I'm gonna... Also, when you go left and right like that, you gain height every time, and... I don't know. One tap up and down, you lose your speed again that you've built up, and... it feels almost unrefined, unfinished. Again, I got stuck with the moving upwards trying to position myself, and yeah. And again, when you turn downwards, you change position as well. Ooh. Level doesn't end immediately either, it takes a second. There we go. Damn it, I'll escape. No, you won't. When Midway and Nintendo are the only people who did this double-sized sprite technique. I mean, it's because it's using an interlaced screen mode, isn't it? And some stuff's at higher resolution than other stuff. The sprites are... I think they've done it so that you don't notice as many, you know, tearing effects from the interlace on stuff that's more likely to move like the sprites. How do I get those to come? So if I go here, do I refuel? Yes, I can refuel. Okay. That's why I was getting confused that you have to land. When the gorilla falls below the card person can't... You mean above the card person like that. So you have to lure the gorillas out the way, or something. Don't just crash into the gorillas. Also, why are the gorillas so big and your plane so tiny? And I don't know. Maybe I should actually enter some initials so you know I'm actually playing the games and not just... Get Yok. There we go. So that was Sky Skipper. Say, not a Nintendo game that many people talk about, but an 81 game, and not my favourite. So this will explain the bonus points. So yeah, I don't know what this obsession with cards in games was, but yeah. Cool game, P-Dub. Yeah, so it's just a shame it doesn't play control a little better, I feel. But I suppose you get used to it and would enjoy it anyway. What about one that was mentioned earlier? I think we're going to go back to vertical now. Yeah, vertical again. SNK, early SNK with Vanguard. Thank you, William. You're also a product of 81. There's a lot of people from 81. I guess MAME kind of has an appeal to people that age, maybe. It's really loud. So here we go. Can't fire when you've got the power up. You can just hit things. Before Neo Geo. A long time before Neo Geo. Yeah, Punching Kid, Oliver Chu. Also, what's it going? Yeah. I have looked at that one quite recently though, so I might not look at that one today. But again, that's another very obscure Irem title from the period. Maybe not as obscure as some of them. I think maybe they've got an excessive number of power-up things. Also, the volume balance is a bit off. The music sample is way louder than the sound effects. Oh. Something glitched though. OBS did just say it disconnected, so hopefully you're all good. Yeah, I think the problem is they're probably still using the sample system, and really at some point really emulating properly. I think maybe some other chips have been rebalanced. The samples are still loud and it's a bit messy. The explosion does seem very quiet compared to the other normal sound effects. Then again, the explosion might be a sample too. I don't know. I've not studied what the samples and what aren't. The end. Oh dear. If you position yourself, you can correctly complete the level by doing nothing. Well, there you go. It's got a continue feature too. A very odd continue feature that has to be explained. But yeah, the sound balance is a bit off. I think it's been off for a long time actually. I seem to remember reading somebody saying it was off a long time ago. Oh dear. Don't like this pattern. Just stay back. It's there, but you can hardly hear it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really a sound expert, as I've said many times, so it's probably not something I can look into myself. Yeah, you can hear the explosion. It's just way quieter. I don't know what are samples and what are not in this one. If everything is sample or quite an obnoxious sound design in this level in general. The end from Konami. That's a fun one. I don't think it's an 81 game though, is it? Unfortunately. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so Vanguard, early SNK. The sound was annoying me. The sound emulation could do with some improvements and rebalancing clearly because the balance was very, very much off in that one. Right. Okay. Sega, 1981, Pulsar. I played this one on stream before, and I remember quite enjoying it. So I think I've got the samples for this too. Little tank-based maze game. Get the keys. Open the door. Get this key too. Ever transforming maze. The enemies that kind of morph when you kill them. There we go, unlock that area. I started with Future Flash, Peter. That was the first game I did. I can put laser base. I can put maybe I can put Future Flash on as a different version. But yeah, that's the game we started with. Right, I got one tank remaining. Yeah, you got to get to the keys in this ever-evolving maze, and then open the door with them. You only carry one at a time. Don't have to get them in order. I don't know if there's a pattern to where the doors open and close, or if it's just random. Roundup Fitter. Yeah, maybe 125 scratch. Not very good at that one. I'm not even sure I know what to do on that one, but we can put it on. Force field does not kill you, you just bounce off it. Which is probably lucky. So we're not playing any of these for an extended amount of time, so we'll probably get through quite a lot of games. It's just a case of, if I remember to look at whatnot. I've never seen this a cabinet of this one. I'm assuming this is a very uncommon game. I'm never even going to see anybody really mention this one either. Game over. Warp. I should probably play Warp at some point. Since Peter did make a very kind donation earlier, I will put on a different version of Laserbase. We'll put on Future Flash because we put on the licensed version before. We're not going to play this for long. I'm just going to play one game of this because we have already played the game. But yeah, say that the Hoei original version was called Future Flash, and unlike the laser-based version, this one does have a black background. But it's the same game. I don't know if it's easier or anything, but it's worth showing just because visually it's slightly different with the background. Yes, Pulsar is a very interesting game. What's he going? Roundup. I guess that's true. This seems more aggressive. The enemies are firing missiles. You're supposed to collect the red knights and push red circles into the center grid until they're all red. Yeah, it's an odd concept. I'll have to have a look at it after this. So we're just playing one credit this because Peter asked about it, and so Peter did make a very large donation earlier. So I know Peter helped with getting this one emulated too. Yeah, he worked with Morton to get the Z1 done on this. That's what I was saying earlier when we played it. It was one of those that was emulated quite late on, really. It didn't get emulated when all the other classics did have bullets. I was a bit too sparing on my shots. The music is soothing. The music is getting very, very 80s. There we go. I love the selling. Put a coin in the slot and we will reveal a vast, unlimited universe. Oh, anyway, so yeah, let's see, there's going to be another coin in my pocket in just a moment. So, holding that. What's it called in my TT fitter, isn't it? Tabletop fitter. Taito. So. You're a robot. Thank you, GP, for the £5 through the super chat and the happy birthday message. Now, unlike Zypho's stream, I don't have anything to read out the messages, so I will read it out. It says, Happy B-Day, and thank you. I appreciate it, GP. I will buy myself some drinks with it or something like that. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I'll probably buy some more drinks for the stream. I've still got a box of drinks behind me. But yeah, well, I'll buy myself another pint when I go to the cinema tomorrow. So thank you, GP. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. It's fine, GP. I don't expect anything. I'd say it's just there as an option if people want to throw something, a little contribution. And I know you support the community a lot anyway. You support Zy streams and everything else, so it's always appreciated. Ewok won't be getting any. That's a bit mean. I think just for being an Ewok, he should get some. So there's an electronic cube bonus game. Anyway, I mean, he's an Ewok and he goes on stream and he's publicly humiliated. I mean, I don't know. So you have to collect the red guys. And then you can go there. So it's a sort of slide puzzle, but mixed with an action game. Can you only collect one at once? I'm guessing you can't. Oh no, can I collect two at once? Yeah, I can only collect one at once. I hope he did buy Kate those Easter eggs. And they're hiding there, you can't get them. And, when that's a level above, okay. When you're on top of there. So that's the only way up to the top area. Okay, that makes a bit more sense. Right. You can only approach the middle ones from there. This is just going to push that out, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, I kind of get what you have to do. It's just strange. When I connected two of them, it changes the music. Does that mean that... King turns them all red. What's the king? Where's the king? What, I just put... What? I don't... I see a king at the top. Right, I don't want to get trapped with that, do I? But I don't see a king in the playfield. Or is just the king come out at some other point? Is the bar scrolling at the top showing me the order things are going to come out? It kind of reminds me of that Join 'em game, but with completely different gameplay. I can't push those ones there. No, I can only push where there's a gap, clearly, yeah. Top is like a queue. Ah, okay, that makes sense. Okay, so if I put this here, this should actually do the level. Right, and then I get a bonus electronics cube. What? What? Okay, it's... What? Why is this a bonus? This has really bad controls, this bonus game. That's not right. You can only use left and right on this bonus cube thing. And it's left is clockwise and right is anti. Yeah, that's a really awkward and horrible mini game. It doesn't feel like it should be there. It kind of reminds me of, is it Nacho Mouse or Mega Mouse? That's got a really odd bonus game that doesn't feel like it should be there. I can't do that one because that's a blocked one. That was just stupid of me. Right. And do all the versions contain that electronic cube? Because this is TT Bitter. There are other clones of it, aren't there? Yeah, the original was... So there's Bitter and Roundup. It's in all versions. Are there any noticeable differences between the versions? It looks like the same game to me. Oh wait, the things can rotate in the middle somehow? What's that all about? And yeah, it's... very odd to have that bonus game. Oh, I don't know. Sorry, Fit was developed by Zaccaria for Taito and Aminip and Century. So maybe they also developed some of those other games I was talking about with the odd mini games. Yeah, there's one. A lot of times, games were developed by companies that aren't actually credited. Maybe MAME should credit them with that one because, I mean, if it was not really a Taito game and sold by different people in different regions, then it's not really licensed by Taito, is it? It's licensed by them. They did develop Macho Mouse. That makes sense. So, Space Odyssey, another Sega one this time. Version 2, apparently. Yeah, that makes sense, Aussie guy. It feels very similar. Again, with the Rubik's Cube makes sense with the gameplay. But the controls are awful on it. So... Very sticky. I've never started a 2-player game. We want to start a 1-player game. So this game kind of feels like it is struggling at all times. I think this is a case of hardware being used in 81 to do games it probably shouldn't really have been trying to do. Looks like an Amstrad game. I think there are Amstrad games that look better than this. Even old ones, even Amsoft era ones, GP. I don't like the way everything moves around so jerkily. Now we're going vertical. Again, it's still... I'm assuming it's moving in tiles. So this doesn't feel like sprite movement on the enemies. Now it's suddenly gone into super fast... What? No way, Salamander. Yeah, it's going full like Salamander 2, switching between... So this thing kills me? No? What? It just makes me spin? But yeah, everything moves really badly. Apart from your ship, but even your bullets... And then it speeds up because the hardware can actually cope at that point. Yeah, you just don't go near the holes. It's bad for you. Although you still fire forward even though you're facing backwards. Yeah, for some reason the spaceship can still fire backwards when it's spinning around there. I'll blow these up clearly. Oh, look, my bullet got stuck on the screen because this is one of those games that feels like it's about to fall apart. And keep in mind, Sega released Turbo the same year as this. I mean, it's not... Oh, you've got bombs too, have you? I didn't realise you had bombs. What do I need bombs for? Not really seeing much in the way of ground targets. Gorf. Yes, Gorf is one I should look at. Rather. We fire our way through these rings where you blow the centre up, a bit like you blow things in Bosconi up. Some of Sega's early titles were rough, yes. I think one of the roughest ones is that Wanted thing that showed up. That's probably a prototype, but that is really bad. Bad in a different way. Bad in just not fun. Let's see. Again, another vertical game. This almost feels like a Kyle Hodgetts game. It's not, but it gives me that feeling. Even the shadow is lagging. Yeah, everything is. Okay. Attack Planet 3, okay. There's nothing to attack on the planet, really. Again, the bombs seem pointless. Ow. Game over, Sega. Game over. Right. Phoenix isn't 81 as far as I know, Carlo, is it? But the other ones are. Gorf will be the next one. Space Odyssey was designed by Steve Hanover. So the same guy who did Turbo. Are you sure that wasn't the game that drove him mad? Because Turbo worked out far better than that did. So Gorf, the game that steals much but still manages to be original and fun. It's like if Riding Hero was a space shooter. Oh dear. Just remember how much people paid for a home cart for Riding Hero. So back to a bit of speech. Now you can only have one shot. That's one thing to keep in mind with Gorf. If you keep firing like that, she won't shoot anything. It cancels your previous shot. But yes, apparently the background is meant to be a fair bit darker than MAME renders it. But I don't know. Maybe there's just different revisions that aren't dumped. Or maybe the pilot emulation is just really bad. Yes, that was your Space Invaders knockoff. Now we've got, is it Space Firebirds? Yeah, $250 for Riding Hero. Ow. I don't usually die in the first wave. Good sign. Yeah, a lot of people have said it should be darker, but then we've seen pictures of it looking lighter, so I don't really know if there's just undone revisions or monitor calibration or what. It's one of the confusing ones. Or people are taking pictures of emulated things. That's a problem these days. You can ask for original resources and people will take photos from machines are running some emulation board in them. This is another where the speech really adds to it. I've thought about looking at that Neo Geo linking thing a few times, but it's a whole extra MCU to emulate or simulate. League Bowling multiplayer would be quite fun, I think. Although I can't imagine any arcade really having kind of linked up League Bowling cabinets. I think you could link them up, couldn't you? I think that's what the feature is on League Bowling. League Bowling Tournament. No, SNK didn't really use that for very long, did they? I think they really should have had the link feature in Bomberman, though. It's really strange seeing a two-player only Bomberman game. But at least they should have allowed a four-player adapter or something. Because Bomberman is known for like the multiplayer fun, so Neo Bomberman being two-player only is a bit of a crime against Bomberman. Rest in peace, Dave Nutting. When did Dave pass away? Yeah, this game feels very janky. Not janky in the way that Space Odyssey did, but still janky. It slows down, it speeds up. But it's fun. There was going to be a sequel, Miss Gorf, but I don't think it really ever got very far. I think there might be some information about it around, but more concept than anything that was going to be playable, I think. Pieces of test code. Don't think we'll be seeing anything from that emulated. 2020, so a couple of years ago. Reached 70. I think 70's not the worst age. I think you can have done plenty with your life and been quite happy at that age. Oh, come on. I'm not even usually bad at Gorf, but I'm going to go with 6 ships then. Because this is one of those games where you insert a second credit and you get extra ships. Bit different. Space Harrier did that too. The number of credits you insert ends up being the number of ships you get, players to get, lives you get. But not that many games do it. But it does have a separate high score table for 6 ships. Which makes sense because it doesn't have a continue feature, and if you're using 6 ships you're going to get a high score. Oh, let's see, we have another donation about to come through. I will read that in a well, I'll read it when it comes through. Look how many brains it drops when these are coming down. Even called it Galaxians. I mean, how cheeky can you get? And thank you, Custado, for the £11 through the super chat for buying a pint and a bag of Coronation chicken crisps on your birthday. Yeah, my birthday is being rather stolen by the Coronations, isn't it? But thank you, always appreciated, and I will be buying a pint with it, or 2 pints with it. I mean, I might not be buying it tomorrow. I may be splitting the pint buying over a few days, because people have been rather generous, and as you know, is your £11 donation there as another nice generous one. So yes, greatly appreciated, and I'm sure the local pubs will appreciate the business. I think they need all the money they can get after COVID. Yeah, I do actually want to loot first stage of this and not just keep dying. So, there we go. We actually get to the flagship, which they actually call a flagship. This is the first game with a flagship to call it a flagship. Again, it's very Phoenix now, isn't it? Destroy the weak spot in the ship. Don't do that. TIE fighters, yeah, everything is a rip-off. Oh, come on. Oh, well, it looks like we aren't going to be looping it, but yeah. That was a pretty bad game of Gorf by my standards. I've done better at some games and worse at others. I don't really know why. Jamie Fenton said she has the program for the Gorf on floppy. I mean, if the floppies still work. There's a homebrew Game Boy port of it. I don't think that's from 1981, though, obviously. But yeah, it's always been a popular game. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what's going on with Miss Gorf then. If there's anything that can be compiled into a playable game or not. But yes, we won't be doing the Space Warp anymore. We shall be finding another game to play. And okay, I need to start deleting some of these from the lists that we have played. Okay, is this one? No, that's the wrong Panzer. Panther, that's the one. Not Panzer, Panther. So this one is marked as a potential bootleg. It's another odd early Irem one that's marked as 81 and bootleg. It has no title screen as far as I'm aware. Let's... get another drink out. Why was Galaxian removed from the home ports? Maybe just lack of memory. Maybe there was an actual legal issue over Galaxian. I mean, Namco have always been quite aggressive. Don't know. So it's another one of those that's not got much sound. And you're aiming. You can see your aim at the side. And so you aim up and down. You launch your shots. I think these take more than one shot, don't they? There we go. So not much in the way of sound emulation. But yeah, there's no title screen on this, which might be why it's marked as a potential bootleg. There's a bit of sound, just not much. The homebrew port of Gorf is from 14 years ago. It's amazing how old some of this homebrew is now, isn't it? You think of homebrew games as recent, and then you look at when they came out. It's the same with like the Spectrum and CPC scenes. There's games that you think, oh, it's a recent homebrew, and it's like 14 years old, as you say. I am number one today, or no one today. So let's try this again. But yeah, this is one where I'm guessing it's so rare that nobody's found a second board to verify the dump, or see if it is a bootleg, redump it, or has one to say, oh yeah, that's missing from an original. It's just one of those mystery Irem games of the time. I mean, it's a bit awkward to play. I'm not going to lie. We've not done the home console stuff yet either. It's been all arcades, but maybe we'll stick to arcades. Can I not shoot things? I don't think I can shoot things when they're under that. Which, not in the right place. Too close, and I got blasted. And yeah, I think you've got to defend the city. So it's got a bit of missile command influence, hasn't it? You're protecting these bases at the bottom against these tanks. Although in this case, well, they're retreating, but they're also firing a ton of missiles at me. This one is. That's a dual KO. Colour scheme looks very specky. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It's lots of sort of primary colours, maximum intensity colours, you magenta, cyans, greens. It's basically what the Spectrum did, just maximum intensity colours, plus a slightly darker version of them. Not got the colour clash of a specky, although it's still got some black borders around things, like the explosions, which again does have that specky look, doesn't it? The sound emulation seems especially bad, like Oli Bucci used to be. This version of Panther may be an earlier cockpit version. PD stuff technically homebrew. I mean, if somebody's, I mean, public domain PD, yeah, it's basically is homebrew. Although a lot of times when people say homebrew these days, they're still talking about releases that get sold or shareware, which is a bit different. Because, I mean, shareware stuff is commercial, really. Somebody's selling it. But, Irem definitely had a thing for war themes, didn't they? I mean, there's Irem's Green Beret, which is not the same as the Konami game. There's another Irem game from '81 called WW3. Okay, Demoneye-X wasn't really a war theme, but this is actually really tricky. I don't think this game's actually going to do anything beyond what we're seeing here. I think this is the game. So after this credit, we'll probably move on, because I don't think I've got much else to show for this one. But 81. Well, we think it's 81. I mean, if it's got no title screen, then how do we know? Yeah, we played a bit of Vanguard. Not played Kicks yet. So yeah, once the tanks get there, you have to get the shots in exactly the right place. Now we've got this other tank coming out. And yeah. Your hitbox is not small. Hey, Malotti. The games are fast. Kickman, the balloons fall. I think the balloons are meant to be fast on Kickman. You might need to adjust the actual analog control speed a bit faster so you can move quick to get them. I think it's meant to be quite a fast game, so I'm not sure that's the problem. I think the problem might be controls aren't set up to move quickly enough. This is the problem I had when I played it earlier. At first, the defaults are quite slow. Okay. What now? What now? What now? We've been going for 2 hours 11 minutes, so we've got about another 50 minutes left. I'm just trying to work out what I want to play. Okay, I know what I want to play. A bit of Funky Fish from Sun Electronics. Again, we've got a very specky colour scheme, as a GP would say about the previous one. Lots of primary colours here. But, this is a nice one. This is like Fantasy Zone before Fantasy Zone. If they get rid of the bases, you shoot these little things, they turn into fruit. And there's a map at the top showing where the bases are. If they take too long to eat the fruit, they turn back into enemies. And you, for some reason, when the bases get destroyed, they turn into fuel stations, so you can refuel your fish. Because fish, oh yeah, so that's what I mean. If they get to the bottom, they turn back into enemies, and you have to kind of get the timing. I really like the background style on this, all the circles that just keep appearing and disappearing. They're like oversized stars, and that was a terrible, terrible credit. There's a flyer that shows a cockpit cabinet. I mean, I'm wondering if the version we've got maybe a prototype, something like that. Maybe the game was only ever a prototype. I really don't know. But, yeah, again, I think this is a game that I think I first played on stream and enjoyed playing, and would have never heard of it except for MAME. I don't think it got any ports anywhere. Oh, it took too long. I'm doing exceptionally badly, and that one's done now. Yeah, you can't just kill them, you have to collect the cherries, otherwise the base won't go away. Get all the points from it, and it vanishes. Now, it doesn't wrap around like Fantasy Zone, so you do have to go back. Yeah, it could have done. I mean, Sky Skipper had a bit of this going on, didn't it, with the cards in the different positions. But this does feel a lot more like a very early Fantasy Zone concept, even though, you know, this is Sun Electronics, not Sega. But, you know, so maybe they played it. Opa is not a fish, as far as I know. Nope, I'm not going to try and get that when it's already flashing. Come on, just got to get this last one. There we go. And refuel. Uprights and cocktails do exist. So I wonder why it's not been redumped then. Or, you know, not redumped, but nobody else has dumped their board to see if it's the same. But then again, you know, not everybody does. Just got to kind of hope one ends up in the right hands. That's good. No, run away. Yeah, if they're really near the bottom, they'll change back into the ships quickly. So you really want to be attacking them when they're up top. I guess that was a bonus life. I wonder if Zypho's found any hidden streams on his Amstrad stream so far. I'm assuming they kill you. Hidden gems, because Zypho's doing one of his hidden gems CPC streams tonight, which is where I'll be heading after I'm done. Which is also why I don't want this to go on 3 hours, because you know I do like to spend my Fridays relaxing and watching other people play games too. Especially, you know, that kind of hidden gem stream. Somebody's doing a hidden gem stream, I'll always try and watch it because, you know, there's so many games on platforms that I don't know about either. You're not watching at the moment. Oh, I thought you would have it open in a different window as well, GP. Anyway, I'll be hopping over there in saying about, what, 40 minutes? Yeah, about 40 minutes. So. I died. The game seems maybe a little easy, unless it's one of those Sun games where there's some protection making it too easy. I don't know, like Kangaroo, but I don't think this is protected. No, there's no protection MC running at least, so it's probably not. It's probably just is quite easy. Yeah, threesome is too much, is it, GP? Well, you know, we can both hop over there and waltz in together later then when I'm done. So, with all the coins being detected in my pocket tonight, let's have a look at Frenzy, which is the 1981 follow-up of Berserk, which I believe does still have the coin detecting pocket in the attract mode. Oh, this says 1982 on the screen. Interesting. Interesting. MAME says it's 1981. It appears we have a conflict here. There's no... We'll play it. We'll play it, but MAME might be wrong here. I don't know. It's definitely got 82 on the screen. We played Vanguard Colo. Briefly. So yeah, this might not actually be an 81 game then, even though MAME says it's 81, because it's definitely got 82 right there on the title screen. But it's the follow-up to Frenzy. Unfortunately, I don't think it's as good. It's got these silly bouncing walls, and everything is far less chatty. I mean, you know, it's the iconic speech that is always in Berserk has just been cut right back here. And Berserk was a game about precision. And, you know, carefully aiming your shots, and now you've got shots bouncing all over the place. Yeah, anybody know why this one is listed as 81 in MAME? Because it doesn't look like it's 81. I mean, Berserk's one of my favourite arcade games, although so I will disagree there. But this one, yeah, it doesn't quite have the same magic. We won't play it for long though, because it may not be an 81 game. I may have been tricked by MAME's metadata. Unless they put it at an 81 with an 82 copyright date for some reason. According to arcade history, it was released in June 82. Yeah, So this doesn't make sense now. I think we'll quit this one because it seems to be that MAME has got the wrong date for that one. Other sources definitely say 82, Wolfaz points out, and the title screen says 82. So if there's an 81 version of that, it's not dumped because there are no clones. So that one, we pass. That one we pass. Winning run, 88. Yeah, there were quite a few cases like that, GP, or... you know, delayed release in other territories, or where they put a year thinking it'll be out, you know, people see it the year after. I think Clax is an 89 game, even though it starts with the, you know, the intro sequence that says it is the 90s because they anticipated people playing it in the 90s. There are a few examples of things like that. Okay. So. I'm just looking through my list. Tactician's another one where there's a set that's 82 and a set that's 81. That's another Konami one. Are there any good games like that? Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I know what I'm playing. I think we're going to have to go back to vertical. There we go. Jump Bug. This was mentioned earlier. Pardon me. Thank you. Cute little car. So, I mean, in the case of those ones, Wolf has, I guess the games were finished in 81 and just didn't get released until 82, so I might still be willing to consider those ones. Oh, yeah, don't hit that. Because if the actual code had been completed at the point, then, you know, and just delayed for other reasons, like something else coming out in the market at the same time. I don't know. But yes, this is a bouncy car game. You get points for bouncing on clouds, and 50 points for the clouds because they take 50 on. I mean, I don't know who came up with the concept of a flying car that bounces around and bounces on clouds. It's a very odd one. Very odd one indeed. But again, this is one of those games that was kind of cloned on various home systems. I think there's an Emerson Arcadia version of it. This was developed by Alpha Denchi and Hoei for Sega. I didn't know Alpha Denchi had a hand in it. That's must be one of Alpha's earlier games. There we get the tunnel section. Ooh, and it's scrolling's a little bit rough. Turned into a maze game. Uh-oh. Alpha Denchi was a co-developer. The exit's up there, yeah, I know. So... I don't understand why it's suddenly turned into a maze game. But, yeah. Obviously, once you've collected the bag, it turns into those skulls. Oh, you can shoot them out of the way. And now we've got a vampire bat. This looks like the castle from Cauldron 2. There we go. Got the gems. And now we've escaped. We can still fire at this point, but there's not any point in doing that. I got the wrong. Should we put in another? Is this a Galaxian hack? I don't think it's a Galaxian hack. It's on Galaxian hardware. You're saying it shouldn't have the Starfield enabled at all? The game itself is on a Galaxian type board. Should be playing better. I don't know. I can't say I've ever played an original, so I don't know. The problem is, you know, a lot of these games on Galaxian hardware, they would enable or disable the Starfield just with a few mods on the board, cutting a few traces so that it doesn't get enabled and things like that. So you can quite easily find examples of them configured incorrectly. Especially the conversions where they wired everything up in completely wild ways. It's a hardware Starfield. It's the Galaxian Starfield. It's a Galaxian board type. But it does turn it off with the title screen, which kind of, to me, suggests that they're intentionally turning it on and off. Are there any clone sets of it? Is this a bootleg? Ollie book? I'm assuming it's a bootleg. Yeah, that's a bootleg. Apparently it doesn't work either. Okay. So, yeah, we have another bootleg, which also has a Starfield. So I don't know. The planet is just spinning really fast. Some database games from 81. Flash Boy. Yes, that seems like a good one. Manhattan. That wasn't on my list for some reason. I think Manhattan. I thought Manhattan was 80, but I don't know. I think I had that down as 80, but again, MAME might be wrong in some senses. What's the set name on Flash Boy? Okay. CF Boy 01. Yeah, because of course it's. Data is cassette. Let's load it quickly. Turbo speed. There we go. New York was actually released in 1980. Yeah, this is the problem when you're trying to work these things out. The game, it's not always correct. The title screens aren't always correct. The MAME isn't always correct, as we see with Frenzy. But yeah, so this is one of several versions of the game. Unfortunately, this is the only one that is dumped. I think there's meant to be a horizontal version as well that's not dumped, or at least horizontal scrolling. I don't know if it'll be horizontal orientated because the cassette system itself is vertical. So it might just have a horizontal scrolling version. And yeah, I'm playing quite badly at the moment. It's one of those where you've got to sort of get into it. Kind of reminds me of a later Database game called Metal Clash. That's kind of close range punching things. Superman attack. And for some reason, the wall's just coming on you. Because that makes perfect sense. I got knocked down again. Yeah, they also call this the Deco Kid in some regions, or maybe that's the other version of it with the other scrolling. So I'm guessing they must have been quite proud of it to name the game after the company in some areas, some regions. So New York was released in 81. The Japanese. Are we talking about the Arcadia thing? It's a Japanese version, or a Japanese version of New York? That was a bad credit. That was a very bad credit. We smashed them with the power attack there. That's always fun to do. Don't want to go that way. Ooh. This attack, when you do that attack on them, it also takes out other things with the bullets they spawn. There you go. You see, chain the attacks. Spiders, yes, spiders is on my list, Aussie Guy. That's one I might look at because it does have a very unique look to it. And especially the massive spider in the attract mode. Low on fuel. That doesn't sound good. How do I get more fuel? Can I get more fuel? Those things at the side, refueling stations? No. No, they are not. I mean, they look like serial ports. Maybe that's the intention. Yeah, fuel empty. I did want to try and get some more fuel, but... So I don't know how to refuel in this. I don't know what the point is in letting you fly down either. Maybe there's some reason for that. What's this? Bonus game? That didn't seem like a good idea. I got my fuel back. Now this game does unfortunately have quite a lot of slowdown, as you can see, but that's because the cassette system is really not that powerful. Some people argue this was the first video game with a combo system. Well, I mean, that is a combo system. I mean, you're killing one thing and the bullets are flying off and killing other things with it. Yeah, it's quite decent for 81. It does have a bit too much slowdown, but say the cassette system is really meant to be a budget system. You know, it's with the cheap interchangeable cassette tapes, and you have to load them at startup. It wasn't the high-end system, so a little underpowered, but Data East did put out some really good games on it, and some creative ones. I'd really like to see the other versions of this dumped. Oh, look at the title screen here. The way they've done this is, it reminds me of some of the, again, computer games, things like the Doomsday Castle on the Spectrum, the Pyramid, the way they did the fancy loader thing. The flying down is a carryover from the horizontal landscape version. So it's not strictly necessary anymore. It's, again, that's why I think it'd be really interesting to see the other versions of it. But who knows if we will? Who knows if we will? But yeah, the Deco Kid, Flash Boy, nice one, that one. Right, we've played that one. We've played that one. Played that one. Played that one. Played that one. Played that. Played that. That was the wrong year. Okay. Draco, 1981 from Cidelsa. I think this is very liberal, very conservative. These aren't using the standard strings. Yeah, dual stick. That's what I thought it was. So, a very janky Spanish game where you have to shoot what's surrounding the score, the point things, to get the number of points it shows. And you also avoid these things, and it's push scroll. This is one of those that feels very much like, say, a home computer game again. The whole push scroll thing is typical, you know, Amstrad CPC Spectrum, because hardware that doesn't do scrolling properly. This game is one of those where you really have to get back into the zone, otherwise, yeah, you will very quickly die. But 81 apparently. Yeah, it's almost all made of ASCII type characters too. Yeah, a bit like Robotron, but before Robotron, I think. It's, I think Robotron 82? Yeah, it's twin stick. But even the flashing effects are very, very Robotron-like. I don't think the programmers of Robotron played this. I think it was Robotron 82. Oh, am I getting confused here? Robotron's definitely not in my 81 list. It definitely has that feeling of a home computer game. You know, the ones where you just have to destroy walls with your shots to get past them. And very strange to say it's an arcade game, but it's a Spanish arcade game. I don't think you would have ever seen this if you were outside of Spain. But the second level is a bit different again. Now you shoot the scores directly. obviously the walls kill you. It's a bit berserk frenzy-like in that sense. That one. And now we've got to blast the dots out the way too. Well, not blast them out the way, collect them. So it's mixed it up again. Very messy game. It does look like a Sega Spectrum game. We can continue. You do get that with a lot of the smaller, the regional games, though. I mean, this was a small Spanish production. The interesting thing is, somebody remade some of these Cidelsa games on things like the CPC. I think Destroyer, was it the CPC? I think both the CPC and the Spectrum got versions of Cidelsa's Destroyer, or was it Altair, one of the other games to put out. So I guess in Spain, these had something of a following. People who remember them, played them, liked them. But if you weren't from Spain, you're never going to have seen this in an arcade. I don't think anybody was importing them. Oh, I hit the wall. But yeah, you've got your say. I think does it loop after this, or is there one more stage type? I can't remember now. Yeah, so many concepts you associate more with computer games. Oh. Okay, last attempt on this. If I can't get past it, we'll look at something else. I can understand that a game where your main character doesn't even animate probably isn't. Yeah, Frog and Spiders 81, late 81. Hey, Cinemax, thank you for the birthday wishes. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. It's so easy to go into the walls in this, as you can see. You move quite quickly. There's no real latency problem with the game. It's just you're quite slidey because you move quickly. And it's pixel perfect collisions. Yeah, so, Oh, if anybody was wondering, the title page is just drawn like this and Photoshop effect. But yeah. Good. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm just enjoying some of these older 81 games, you know, looking at things from the year I was born. I don't play all these older games that often, so we've done that. Right. So yeah, Robotron is 82. So that did come before Robotron, if the date on it's to be believed. Yeah, this was mentioned. I've played this a few times on stream, Halloween streams especially. Spiders from Sigma. I think it's because arcades, you know, that look is kind of iconic. This takes a while to boot. Sigma Spiders. Same, very similar look to the Irem games, font-wise. You know, this looks very, very similar to Irem. But this has one of the more organic type of set of visuals for the period. You know, it's not all just tiles and sprites. You've got these web lines coming out everywhere. And you've got some really big graphics like the explosion, and the one you will see in a moment. I think this is one of the most impressive pieces of attack modes for 1981, to be honest. You just get this spider, this massive spider, and the hardware is clearly struggling to draw the spider at this size. There you go, you see. There you go. Yeah, one of Sigma's best games, and say that pardon me, it's quite an iconic little attract sequence. But come on, let me play. It's another one of those that feels quite Missile Command-like due to, you know, the way these things are coming down at you. But obviously you're not blowing up with explosions and they're not taking out bases. But I think it's just because they are lines coming towards you. It feels a bit Missile Command-y. Yeah, you don't take them out quickly enough, then they will keep expanding and you'll be in trouble quickly. So the idea is to, you know, hit these sort of seeds, cocoons, eggs, whatever it's calling them, quickly. But yes, I would say this is one of Sigma's best games too. It plays much better than, say, New York, New York. I mean, I do like New York, New York, but New York, New York feels very rough to play, whereas this feels precise. It's a game of precision. Yeah, it's not really sprites. I think it's got a frame buffer, which is why it took so long to draw the big spider, because it's drawing it to a frame buffer in software on a very weak CPU. It's, that's also why it can do all these line effects, you know, all the wavy lines, because it's a frame buffer. I don't think this got any home ports of note. I certainly don't remember any. What got me? Yeah, bitmap frame of hardware. You see the little pause when it changes it to blue as well, because it's got to redraw everything in blue. Not an easy game. Not an easy game at all. So, we've got about 15 minutes left. I'm going to play another credit on this one. Not completing until you get the weird winking girl screen. No, I do need to have another go, don't I? Let's take a little while to let you into the game, I have to say. I know what the scores are, the points are. I've seen them before. There we go. It's interesting to look at games from this period as well and see how many sort of design ideas weren't quite, you know, refined. Things like the continue features, how they sort of didn't really know globally what a continue was. And, presentation, you know, like showing the scores there before you after you insert a credit, it's very, very unconventional. I mean, okay, the scores are different on this round. But, I think, you know, most of the time, you just let the player figure that out. Not make them look at the screen for like 3 seconds. If we get to see the lady's face, we will see. Taito published it in Japan for Sigma. I was unaware of that. Those beams remind me of a different Taito game, Space Cyclone. When the lightning comes down and gets you. Again, that's not an 81 game as far as I know. I'm struggling with this game today. I mean, the lady face is impressive in the same way the spider is in the intro, I guess. Guess it's one of those where you have to concentrate. Yes, you have to try and take those out very accurately. There we go. Yeah, it did get bootlegged. I mean, there were a lot of bootlegs around this time. Just ask Pac-Man. You know, one of the things I noticed when looking for games released this year is just how many Pac-Man bootlegs are dated 81. Or, you know, some of the hacks, I think like Piranha was probably 81, but the hack, app scam and things like that, I don't really like the 81 hacks. It seems a bit cheating. Unless they're like really noteworthy ones like well, Miss Pac-Man basically was. Okay, this isn't good. This isn't good at all. There we go. Here is our winking lady. I don't know why, but is this the first game where you get a bonus lady? Now, I think that would be SOS from Namco, wouldn't it? Where you... one of the first games with nudity. Space Lady. I mean, what year was Libble Rabble? That's a 68k based arcade game. And Atari's Food Fight uses a 68k. That's pretty early. 68Ks were used quite early on. Equities, the Sega games, another 68k platform, Alpha Hardware. Well, Alpha Game, Sega licensed them. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the original Amiga came out very early on. So even outside of the arcade, 68Ks were being used, they were just expensive. This year, the PS4 and Xbox One will be 10 years old. Yep. Say my PC is 10 years old, which is why I really need to replace it. It's you know, I'm starting to realise some of the things I'm working on. People are saying, "Oh yeah, it runs really well for me," because my system is just that old. You know, the Hyper Neo Geo stuff runs a lot better for people running it, and just not realising that I've been trying to develop it about 75% speed for Samurai Showdown. Anyway, that was Spiders. We've probably got time for one or two more games. Played that one. I know what we're going to do. So this is a horizontal one. Snapjack from Universal. Presentation-wise, very similar to Cosmic Avenger. But a much better game than Cosmic Avenger. It's Pac-Man on wheels. Yes, it has Popeye theme. You are correct, as we just heard. It has lots of odd tunes. It does take a little bit of getting used to the controls. I hate barrels. We've not played any of the Donkey Kong stuff, have we? That wasn't a very good jump. Shall we try that again? Get Away from Universal, the first 16-bit game. Yeah, that was an unusual 16-bit CPU, but yes, technically it was a 16-bit CPU. I don't think anybody would look at the game and think, oh, this is a 16-bit game. So... The game is a bit of a pain to play in the end. I mean, you move up and down according to the landscape as well as your own controls, and you can easily get yourself trapped like that if you, yeah. But this is the one that's got the London Bridge song as well, tune, isn't it? Anyway, PCSX2 recently added light gun support. You've been playing Time Crisis 2 and Crisis Zone. It's always nice to see the emulators add support things like that. Ooh, this gets tricky. I mean, I know the latest version of MAME allows you to actually play Time Crisis 2 the arcade from start to finish. And yeah, now I'm banging my head on the ceiling. What web? I don't know of any websites for obscure games, to be honest. It's one of the reasons I try and cover them is because I'm sure I had more fun with this in the past. At the moment, I'm just finding it frustrating. Pardon me. A bit like Flappy Bird. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, you don't flap. You just have to watch your head. If you're going up a hill, you really need to press down, otherwise you're going to bang it on the ceiling. But then you don't want to end up being pulled straight into the... No bonus points for the jump. No. No, because I didn't even get to the jump, did I? Just play London Bridge is falling down, and I fell in the water. I'm sure I did much better than this. Yeah, there aren't any other buttons. Anyway, I just wanted to be sure it was the game with London Bridge in, and it is. Okay, I think we're done with this one. So, yes, there will be time for one more game because that I do like that game, but obviously right now it's just annoying me. So one more game. Let's go with a classic. Ooh, no, let's not go with a classic. The Aussie guy wants Punching Kid. Okay, let's do 2 games. Because I want to play this one first. Laser Battle, aka Lazarian, but this is the original Zaccaria game, Laser Battle. I just want to do another horizontal one, you see. Should be very much like Vanguard with the 4-directional firing. This is another one with multiple stages that are all quite different. Don't do that. Yes, Zaccaria with an Italian Wolfaz. Fortunately, I died, so I have to start the stage over again. I really should have mapped these to something more... it makes more sense. It's 4 buttons for directions. Doesn't make sense. They mainly did pinball machines, which is probably why their arcade games have generally got lots of nice little tunes, because they're the kind of things you'd want in a pinball machine for, you know, indicating bonus features and the like. It doesn't play London Bridge, so I don't know. Maybe Universal did it better. What did I hit? Yeah, there were probably some unemulated sounds. But still, I mean, the music alone is enough to make you want to play it, even if the there are various sounds missing. There we go. I quickly died again. I can't remember if this version... One of the versions is much harder than the other. This might be the harder version. I can't remember if it was this or the clone that's the hard version. Maybe I'm just playing really badly. We've not even seen the second level yet. And we've still got Punching Kid to play briefly. Yeah, every time you shoot those things, the balls come out of them, then you have to avoid them. I think I could do with adjusting the colour scheme, to be honest, because now we've got to destroy the meteorites. Because it's quite dark. These blue things are actually really difficult to see against the black. I think the default colours are probably not optimal. At least the white bullet's bright. There we go. So you see, now we get to, say, a different level. Get to the top of the screen. Very much like Sticks on the Spectrum, if you've played that. It's got you crossing multiple levels of enemies to get to one end, the other end. Anyway. I hope I've not missed any other requests. I do try and pay attention. Yeah, they get quite tricky, this, because you move really slowly. It's just a rather happy song, isn't it? More of a racing song. Maybe that's the point. It kind of pushes you to move quickly, when really moving quickly probably isn't in your interests. Could be the bullets move quickly. Maybe it's encouraging the bullets to move quickly, because yeah. Anyway, say Laser Battle, another multi-stage shooter with some pretty good tunes. As mentioned, it is missing some of the sound effects. Hopefully one day they'll be emulated. But nice one. Nice one. Hey P-Dub. Hey P-Dub. Anyway. No, I mean, I guess on a real screen you just adjust it. I could adjust it in MAME. So. Aussie guys. Quest Punching Kid from Irem. We did look at this quite recently. I have it set to Olibuchu palette because the Punching Kid one is ugly. Anyway. The fear is losing a start from the beginning. Yeah, it's a bit punishing that, because you do have to start every game from the every stage from the beginning. Now here we get a very jolly tune. And actually one of the... We've not seen many maze games. It's surprising considering, year after Pac-Man. This is a very nice little maze game that has only in the last, say, year or so gained good sound emulation, and it's another Irem game. We've covered quite a few Irem games. Let's see, she wrote. Oh dear. This thing with boxing gloves. And sometimes the mice will go into the little trap things up there. I think you can actually sort of force them to go in by positioning yourself so they avoid you. Because they do sort of run away from you. No. But yes, obviously, you've got these tight squeezes and things like that to mix it up. I mean, the maze has got a very dynamic look to it. Narrow passages, wide passages, these little places the mice are going. They've not done while I've been playing. And the different shapes around the maze. I mean, you have to think about how you're going to navigate it, how you're going to avoid things. Different enemies can go through different things. You get slowed down in places. And obviously the mice can go through levels like that to evade you. As mice can. And enemies will flash when they've seen you, like that. So you know they're going to start chasing you. And usually it's too late by the time you do. So you've got to see where they're watching, because they do watch. They've got these little eyes and they look around and they come for you. See, there's a mouse up there in the that though it's got out. No, it's not. There we go. And this is sort of a risk reward thing. You get huge bonus points, but as soon as you're in there, those things come straight for you, and you can just lose your life. As a 41-year-old gamer myself, thanks for making me not feel guilty for playing video games. Video games are for everybody. El Toledo. I mean, I enjoy my games. Lots of people enjoy their games in their 40s. I mean, a lot of the streamers I watch are, in their 40s, older. It's how to unwind. I mean, especially with these older games, because I've got a lot of newer games, bigger games, but sometimes you just want something you can fire up for 5 minutes and enjoy. So no, definitely don't feel guilty about playing these games, old ones or new ones. I mean, I'm sure the people who made them back in the day are, going to be really glad there's still people who enjoy them too. I mean, when somebody made this back in '81, I don't think they thought people would still be playing it in 2023. Here we are. So you think this palette is the correct palette, Aussie guy? All men did in his day was go down the pub and start fires. And plenty of people still do that today, GP. I mean, it's not really the best thing to be doing, but it still happens if you're more of a pub fighter. Probably wouldn't have got games like Street Fighter if people didn't like just going down to the pubs and beating everybody up. Because that's what Street Fighter's about, isn't it? Going to the pub and beating everybody up. Oh, I think it's something else. I've not even got to the cutscene in this yet. I think I've been talking too much. I've not even got any high bonus points either. Do games, not fun. Here we go. A nice little Irem logo. Why it's best to play this version. You get the Irem logo, not the GDI logo. And the Irem logo, such a nice looking logo. Look at it. That's a logo that doesn't look old. Oh. Boxing gloves don't help me there. Yeah, this is the last game. and so I'll probably be finishing quite quickly after I quit this. So again, thanks to everybody for being here and sitting with me while I play some old games from '81 on my birthday. Well, technically my birthday once it goes midnight, but I'm busy tomorrow, so I won't be streaming tomorrow. This is the closest date I could find that worked. But you know, it's been fun, and I've enjoyed seeing everybody having a good chat about the games too. Yeah, I've I mean, I can say not everything I've put out is fantastic, but often a sign of quality, and obviously they'd go on to basically become NASCAR for SNK and do Metal Slug games, so that is kind of where Irem ended up. Well, a lot of Irem. But yep. Maybe not the developers of this game specifically, but see, you can't collect them when they're in the tunnels because you can't punch them. Well, this is not every. In some places you can, but they're harder to collect in the tunnels. Now, I'm not going for big points here because I've not been trying to get any of the high scoring bone stuff. That was lucky. Thank you, Atom, and thank you, Sanamax, and Aussie Guy, and P-Dub. I've not had any cake yet, actually. Maybe I'll have to go and look for some or find some for myself tomorrow. Kids these days will never understand coming home missing half your teeth, internally bleeding from whatever. No. Maybe that's for the best, though, Smedis. that boom sound is kind of funny. There we go, game over. And cute little animations. Again, that's something you see in quite a few of these games, isn't it? I guess because Pac-Man had the cutscenes, other companies wanted to do their cutscenes, and they thought, you know, that appeals to people, and it does. It works. They look good. But anyway. Yeah, it's just a form of entertainment media in the end. Games for kids never made sense. A lot of these games are really tough too. I mean, if you were playing them as a kid, you weren't going to get anywhere. So I think they were for adults even back then. Anyway. As I said, there's so many other games from '81 that I've not played. You know, there's War of the Worlds vector games and things like that. Armored Car, which I keep meaning to play. More Data East cassette games. Sega's Borderline, Bosconian. The Kicks. There's loads of them. So Moonshot would have been nice to play, but I played a decent selection of them, and I think it's been interesting to look at, say, games that came out the year I was born. And so, as I said, thank you to everybody who's been here and having a chat. I'm going to hop on over to Zypho's Amstream now and watch a bunch of CPC games where he's trying to search for some hidden gems. So if anybody else wants to pop over to Zypho's stream, I guess I can link to that, can't I? Yeah, you can jump on over to Zypho's stream there if you want. He's doing Astro CPC games, looking for hidden gems. But yeah, thank you everybody, and I will catch you on the next one, I think. So good night, take care, and I will see you then. So yes, let's just press the outro button now. So good night everybody, take care, bye bye.